past 4 years of trading, I've met hundreds of successful people, and the reason why they're so successful is because they're able to perform at such high levels of efficiency by their routines and habits that they have day in and day out. These routines have helped them to become consistent and more accurate and make their successes repeatable over and over and over again. In my own 4-year journey as a trader, I've spent thousands of hours breaking and remastering my own strategy and daily routine to make myself as successful as possible, to have those repeatable successes happen over and over again. Now, this routine has allowed me to eliminate my emotions completely from my day trading and allow me to focus on solely what matters: the setup. When I trade, there is zero doubt about what I need to do next and how to act once that opportunity actually arises, and the way that I effectively take those positions, all down to the T, is a very emotionless process. What most people don't realize is that by just following a regular routine that you have implemented by yourself and you're consistent with, it's much easier to do that over and over again and then slowly scale up to those $2,000 to $5,000 days. Now, the last 2 steps in the video are going to be the most critical ones to pay attention to. These last 2 steps are the things that allowed me to make a very effective and ruthless strategy that I've spent countless nights and thousands of hours, as most of you have already known, baking and developing this, and that's what's got me to a point where I have a 70 to 80% fluctuating win rate month by month with my trading. Today, I'm going to walk you through this exact trading process that I've created by myself and go through step by step of what do I do when I start to the end, how do I execute the tools that I use, and guide you through the entire process so you can visually see how I implement everything and actually effectively trade. I know many of you are visual learners and you like to have a handheld step-by-step process. This is going to help you with that and make it a very seamless and enjoyable video to watch that's also super informative. Now, if you follow this strategy correctly, I am 100% sure that you will actually be able to effectively make those $2,000 days, because I've done it myself and I've also taught other people how to do it. So if that's something you're interested and you're into trading and investing, make sure to hit the like and subscribe to the channel as well. We're really trying to push to 1,000 subs right now. We're going to go over some of the tools that I use day to day. So I've got both my phones here that I use. I'll have Binance open up on one of them because I like the UI on my phone. I like working with that a little bit more than on the computer. So I just find it a little bit easier using my hands, so it's a lot faster. And then if I'm going to work on like a funded account, I'll use Tradeovate on my actual computer here. So to give you guys a bit of a gloss over here, so we have the custom VRVP indicator that my dev team made, along with a custom levels indicator, which is actually pretty cool. So it actually pulls up a times table in the top right that goes over all of the levels, scoring them pretty much, 1 through 16, giving me the best levels across the higher time frame. I'm starting on the 2-hour time frame, and essentially from there, what I'm doing is I'm breaking it down from the 2-hour to the 45 to the 15, and then to the 5. I typically don't go lower than the 5 because the positions that I'm trading are going to last for a few days at a time, or if I'm trading some sort of intraday contract, then I'll go down to the 5 or even the 3 minute to just get those precise entries to make sure that I'm being as particular and accurate as possible when I'm entering or going to exit something, just so I can make sure I got all of the juice out of the lemon before I toss it into the trash and exit. So let's take a look at our chart. We want to start out on the higher time frame. Now, as we have the VRVP placed on here, it's a custom tool that my team has made, so I'll show you guys really quickly some of the settings that we've got on here. It's a lot more complex than the traditional one, so if you want to use it, the link is in the description. We'll place it back on our chart a bit later. What we need to start out with, as it's step 1, is getting in our structural lines. We have 2 different colors of lines here. The white ones are going to be more similar to trend lines. Those are kind of moving with the momentum of the candles. The yellow one is going to help us to identify when we are in an uptrend and a downtrend on the larger time frame. So notice how previously the candles were below the yellow line, which marks it as a resistance. So as we cross above it, we confirmed it as a support right here, and trend continued upwards, then price came back down, and notice we went back to that yellow line and confirmed it as a support again, and now we're on it again, testing to see if it's a support as this candle closes. And those white lines that we have placed on our chart here are allowing us to see the trends as they develop. So in the event that we want to jump into a trade, we have the pre-made trends we can see from the past that might continue into the future if the chart decides to re-interact with those prices and levels. However, we'll place new ones as our chart continues to develop here. Our VRVP helps us find where the chart is going to have a very hard time going and where it's going to have a very easy time moving through. The red zones are our areas where there is very low volume on the chart. We have large candles that are moving inside of those red zones. We're not really stopping and pausing a lot. It's kind of just a lot of directional movement, slicing right through those areas. Because there is such low volume, so it's going to be be very fast to pass through those areas and the candles are going to be a lot larger. However, as we place on our green zones here, notice how the chart is a lot more focused in those areas. There's lots of volume, lots of buyers, and lots of sellers to interact with price. We can see how the different layers of our chart sort of pull together, and we have a large yellow structural line that's ascending, moving through the chart with a green zone on top and a very clear gap between the current zone and the one below it, as price stands right above the line, ready to break and confirm it as a resistance and move swiftly to the downside. So we can't do anything until we have placed in our levels. And these are going to give us an effective look at where some of our take profits might be, and also where we're going to see some resistance as we're moving to the down or the upside. So we have another custom indicator that we use, which is a levels indicator. So I'll place that in now. It's essentially going to show me if I had missed anything on our chart, which I did not. So now with all of these layers put together on our chart, we have a very clear understanding of where price cannot go and how it's going to go to where it wants to, which is to the downside, and the path it's going to take to get there, which is breaking that yellow line, confirming our zone, testing our level on the way down, and gapping through those low volume areas on the chart with some of those white trend lines popping up, which we'll also use as a stop loss, which will be its own video. And once I've done that, I'll then zoom out on the higher time frames, maybe the 4 hour or the 1 day, give a little bit of attention to that, see if there's anything I should be looking out for. And like I said, if it's an intraday, I'll watch it very closely on a smaller time frame. If it's a longer term trade that I'm going to go ahead and swing, I'll make sure to actually go ahead and just stay up to date on it, leave it on the side of my monitor over here rather than on my main one while I'm getting work done. And if anything interests me or I need to update something in my position, I'll go ahead and do that. It's honestly really simple, and it's a very laid back approach to trading, which is why I enjoyed it, because honestly, things should be simple and accurate, and there shouldn't be any overcomplicating of the strategy whatsoever. Now, one of the biggest factors that actually allowed me to be flawlessly able to trade the strategy every single time pretty much is the fact that with backtesting it as often as I did, I was super confident in my ability to effectively trade any of these different markets because I've already done the backtesting and I know how the strategy works in tandem with those markets depending on whatever variables are at play. Because to be honest, they don't really even matter as long as I stay true and stick to my guts and what the strategy and process and framework that I developed taught me. Now, I used to do this every single night until I became a complete master at the strategy that I've developed. And to put it simply, we go back into TradingView, we use the bar replay tool right here, which allows us to rewind to any point in the past. It erases the future so we can take trades just like we would in real time. Backtesting is an incredibly useful tool that actually allows you to become way more familiar with the strategy, get a lot more practice with it, and get the experience and edge you need to be confident with it mentally, so that once you actually put real money into it, you're not really worried and you already have a good heads up on what's going to happen. Now, this is also why I highly recommend that you track all of your, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks of backtesting, is because you'll actually be able to get a more in-depth view on what you can improve and do better, so you can fix the issues, refine anything you need to refine, and feel like a pro using the strategy and setting yourself up to be an income generating machine. Now, as you guys know, I try to give out as much free information as possible in the YouTube videos, but I obviously can't disrespect the clients that I have on the private side of MCF. However, I will bring one of those guys on now, as we've done an interview with him, and he is masterful at working with the strategy because as I've taught him on the private side of MCF how to actually be a master of his own emotions, very detailed when it comes to the depths at which he analyzes the charts and the complexities of that, and also just a very disciplined trader. So every day in and day out, just effectively trading only when it makes sense and not swinging at every pitch that's thrown at it. Now let's bring on Ben here. He was able to generate over 30 grand using my strategy after teaching it to him for around 2 to 3 months. So let's hear what he has to say. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
You don't have to trade every day. There was a period of time where it was like a week that I just didn't see anything good. But then whenever I went back to trading, then it's like, all right, well, I took the week off. Now it looks good. Now you can trade. And that's why the win rate was so high, is like just having the patience and just waiting for your setup. And realistically, the trades that I was hitting were huge, like above $500. And for like the normal human, it's not that bad. So over time, like I think my biggest trade I've ever hit, it was one contract on NQ for like $2,700 or something like that. And it was at like 3 in the morning. So I just never imagined that I would be able to hit some shit like that until we started getting the mentorship going and stuff like that.
I pulled up your log as well. So you had, your total profit was $28,037. You had a total loss of $3,672, and you had a realized P&L of $24,000. And your win rate up until that last week there was really high in the mid 80s, and then you ended up ending off with an 80% win rate over the course of 48 trades.
A little lower than I thought. I thought it was like 85. Well,
it was up until that
higher.
Last week.
Yeah, I took some losses. It's fine. It happens. But
yeah, but dude, it was insane because your losses are marginal. Like they didn't really exceed anywhere from like 4 to 500. They were all around like the 1 to 200 range, and then your wins were just $1 grand, $2 grand, $3 grand, 400, 500, 100, 100, 100, 100 nonstop. That's also trading gold as well, so it's quite difficult. And to finish off the day, it might sound weird, but I don't really even think about trading. I kind of just do a little bit of prep. So I essentially just set a few reminders of what I need to do for tomorrow, maybe any stop losses I have set up. I'll set some alerts for those so I'll get notified, and I'll also just set up maybe a few charts or analysis to look out for in the next day. This prevents me from having to wake up in the morning all clustered and worried about what I have or from missing anything, so I effectively just know what I have to get done in the morning, and if there's nothing, then that's even better. What I will say is that in the morning when I'm just making coffee and stuff, I will have, let's say, 10 charts that I mark up. I won't even trade all of them. I might trade 1 or 2, if that, maybe none. Essentially what I want to do is I want to set up everything, and if it doesn't perfectly line up with the strategy that I've talked about in this video, I won't go through with it. Now, it's 1:35. I'm going to be done recording this video and also done trading a little bit, so I essentially just take the rest of the night to just chill. I like to do that just so I can like reset my emotions, just get super laid back, so I'm not like tense waking up in the morning or, you know, still focused on any of those trades from the previous day. I like to just reset, wipe the slate, so I'm not carrying any of those emotions, which is actually pretty underrated, into the next day. I've just completely clean slate when I wake up in the morning, ready to go, super relaxed, and just not in any sort of mood. So essentially just read a book, play a game, or just chill with your mates. There's nothing else you can really get up to. Just a quick reminder before we end off things here, I appreciate you guys for sticking through. All the resources I've mentioned are going to be in the description below. And also, more importantly, if you want to be like Ben, get on the call with me. We have this available now since we're a bit of a smaller channel on YouTube, not so much on IG. You can go ahead and book a call with me, get on the phone with my team. We can get some sort of plan going and even see if you're eligible client to be working with us. So go ahead and apply on the link in my bio and also in the link in the description if you're having a hard time finding it. Last things first, make sure to hit the like and also subscribe. We're really trying to grow this channel. I appreciate everybody that's been here. Now we're at 600 subs, which is massive. But like I said, if you're into trading and in the money space and you're looking at investing, make sure to subscribe. We're going to be posting a lot of content every day and these sort of longer form sit down videos every week. Cheers.